Welcome to the Highest Resolution. Today's episode, I got Miss Francy Rawls. She is a host, a photographer and videographer. She is a mass media consultant, and she is a journalism and media studies major. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, the first question I want to have, we were talking earlier, I've learned that you do so much, not just in photography or video, just like overall in the world of like production. And so for you, how did that kind of like start for you to get into like media and production?
So, at a very young age, it was difficult for me to communicate. And I used photography, my way of expressing myself. So, like when I was like 2 or 5, I would hold on to a lot of images of my family. When my parents got divorced, that's when I would like really like gravitate to photography. And then when I was like 15, 16, that's when I started taking it more serious. I volunteered at church and became a photographer for One Life. And then COVID happened, and I decided to switch my major to journalism and media studies.
That's fantastic. So for you, when we were talking, it seemed like you do freelance stuff also, like just for like everybody, but a lot of your work has come from, a lot of your career has involved in like working like with through partnerships, like working with universities. So how did those type of partnerships come about? And how have those like helped you in your career?
Um, when I first started my own business, Black Girl Expo, I took it as an opportunity to build my portfolio. So from there, I used the content I had with my mentors and building relationships.
Yeah.
Using content that I used from my mentors was another way for me to build relationships with people in the professional world. So that's how I was able to get all these wonderful internships, by building relationships with my professor. That led to me working at coliseums, museums, and other events.
Yeah. That's really dope. So I know you mentioned you worked with like museums before, universities. What have been some of like your favorite types of, I guess you could say kind of like corporate partners to work with, like with the concerts and the coliseums? What have been some of your favorite events that you've got to work with?
One of my favorites is working at the Greensboro Coliseum, working for the Carolina Cobras, just really to like see like the process of being like working behind the scenes and also being able to be a commentator. Even though I don't know anything about football,
Yeah.
I could still talk about like what's going on at halftime or just little questions on the YouTube feed. It was my favorite also because I met a lot of celebrities that I didn't know anything about, but I got to learn more about during the job.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Anybody specifically that you got to, or did you sign an NDA or something like that?
I got to meet Petey Pablo.
Snap.
I didn't know he was such a big deal, and so like I told my mom. Well, I asked my mom like who this guy was like on the radio.
Yeah.
She's like, "It's Petey Pablo," and I was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
And then she showed me, and I was like, "Oh, I work with him."
Yeah.
Like, it's like little stuff like that, and I just be like, "Oh, I didn't know they were a big deal." Like I don't be fangirl about certain people,
Yeah.
and when it comes to celebrities at all, I just feel like they're just normal people,
Right.
like, using entertainment to make money or as a job. So,
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I think it's great that you feel that way though, because sometimes like thinking of some like hyping someone up more than like you have to can like have you put them on a pedestal, and then if they make a mistake, you can feel like, oh, like they're just the worst person because you had such these high hopes.
yeah.
And they probably want that too, to just be treated as like an average person. So I think that's really cool. And so for you, on the university side, you are enrolled in college with Bennett and A&T at the
Mhm.
same time, and you've actually got to work with the university and produce different things for them and host for them. So how would you like describe that experience, like how you got the opportunity to partner with them and the different things that you've produced for them?
Mhm. So, because my campus is like a small population school, it's a great space to become a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So, once my other JMS Bennett sisters graduated, their responsibilities were like passed down to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that led me to being the weekly ring host and Bella radio host. And from there, it's like, oh, now you have to build, well, not build, now you have to make graphics for the school.
Yeah.
Now you're the photographer of the school. Like I first started off as the photographer of the school, then I ended up being the host, and then now I'm the graphic designer.
Yeah.
And during the summer, I was an employee.
Yeah.
And like it's all these cool opportunities. Thing I was gonna like go so left and be like, my mom thinks that one day, well, once I graduate, that they're gonna hire me to either be a JMS
Yeah.
professor or like come back and help them with like marketing and branding and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That would be a dope opportunity. I think it's, well, I mean, she
yeah,
can keep in your prayers. I think that's a really great thing to
yeah.
have.
Like I feel like I have so much experience under my belt
Hmm.
that I'm not really learning as much anymore.
Yeah.
I'm teaching and I'm um telling the other girls like, hey, look at it from this point of view, or like keep it going, keep up the motivation, and also like trying to like explain to them in different words like what my professor means,
Yeah.
because my professor is all white, like he's not all white, he's a white male.
Hmm.
So like sometimes it's kind of like he comes off a little crazy or like
Yeah.
a little off, and I'm just like, hey, like
Yeah.
relax, like he's actually meaning to like say it kind of like this, or like if you want to say it like that, you got to be more confident, or
Yeah.
use that technique in a different way. But yeah,
Yeah. It's a little cultural barrier there. You kind of gotta break it down.
yeah,
I get that. It's cool that you've learned so much in the whole world that you're able to pass on information to other people.
mm-hmm.
Um, there was I remember doing a shoot with Jarrell and like he's teaching me stuff and this girl walks up behind me and she's like, why's the whole thing like, why's the screen red? Because it was like peaking. It was just showing what's in focus. And like, I was telling her what it was and it felt like a strange moment because it was like, I'm still learning stuff, but I'm able to like teach somebody else. So, how has it been for you, or what does it mean to you to get to be able to like mentor people after having been mentored yourself? Like, does it feel kind of like strange or surreal, or no, it feels like pretty natural?
It's kind of natural because like I don't realize that I'm doing it at the time until like I had one on live one day, and I'm like going behind my professor and saying like, hey girl, like you got to do it this way.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like really grateful to like be able to mentor my other little JMS sisters.
Mhm.
Um, when I like first got into it, I was kind of like I don't know, like I feel like I should have been learning
Mhm.
instead of like teaching them like the whereabouts and like why they didn't have the same work ethic as me.
Yeah.
But now I'm like trying to like get them to see the benefits
Yeah.
of it all. So
Yeah. That's really cool. That's great. And one thing you also talked about is production studios you've got to with like television production studios you've
mm-hmm.
gotten to work with. How did like those opportunities arise, and how would you advise someone if they were, because I know a lot of people may want to be actors or producers or someone in that field.
Mm-hmm.
How did like those opportunities arise for you to work with like film television producers, and if you could help someone else to be like, hey, this is how you could potentially get an opportunity in this space, what would that be?
Those opportunities arise for me by building connections and relationships with different people in higher levels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, it was like through my professor. Like I literally walked in on him in a meeting, and it was like two other. I thought it was two other interns
Mm-hmm.
at the time, but it was actually like the recruiting people for
Yeah.
Peacock. And then he was like introducing them to me, and um, from there was like, oh, let's schedule lunch. But I didn't meet the requirements because I'm only a junior.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, I would have the opportunity to apply for a Peacock. I think it's an internship. I can't really, because it's like, you know how like Peacock is like a really like big thing, and they have different branches and all that.
Yeah.
So they're more like the people that I met with. They're more focused on anchors,
Yeah.
bringing people in and like anchoring. But I'm more focused on like the producer side and the production side.
Right.
But yeah, just building connections with who you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think role models
Yeah.
are like a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
and not really like limiting yourself.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. That's something you've done really well of not limiting yourself, because the fact that you've done photography and video, but you also host, but you also did graphic designing. Like there isn't like a limit to like what you're like willing to try out and learn and like master. Are you like genuinely like interested in every field of production, or are you kind of just like, if I haven't tried it before, I'm willing to try it out and see if I like it?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am to both. Yeah, like I didn't really see myself um, meeting the requirement to work in the museum,
Hmm.
but I was the only one pulling the weight.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like really cool because like when I first got out, I was like, Mom, it's a girl from Howard, and it's another girl, it's another person from Davidson, and
Hmm.
it's another person from Morehouse, and I'm just from Bennett, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah. That's you have the right attitude about it. We're just like, I'm gonna shoot my shot and and see if I make something.
Yeah.
It was I think it's called a griff or a gafter. I think that's
Mm.
what it's called in production. But it was like on Production Hub. I was looking up there just like, oh, see if there's like some freelance like job opportunities or whatever. And I emailed the dude. I was like, never been that before, but I can probably do it. I'm willing to learn. And if you don't, the post was still up like a few days before the thing when it was supposed to happen. Um, and so I emailed the dude. Didn't get an email back, but you know, it's like I relate to that because I'm like, I'll try something out and you know and see if it'll work out, because that's really the only way you're gonna know. And even stuff that like I feel that God has like called you to,
Mm.
even that you still have to get out there and try it out, and you know, it may work out, it may not, but you have to like take that first step in order to like get to the next like progression of like where he's called your career to be. So that's really cool. Graphic designing, is that fun? Because it just looks complicated when I look at it. It's so much, and I be looking at Chris and them on Adobe
it's
Illustrator, and I'm just like,
it's fine. You know, like when I first started at the church, I was kind of frustrated because like I wasn't like comparing myself
yeah,
um to Genesis and others' work, but Genesis showed me how to use Canva. This was
yeah,
back in 2017
yeah,
when people didn't know Canva at all.
yeah,
She showed me how to like use different templates and like take pictures from Pinterest and like put it with Pastor Andy's, what do you call them, like word, like
it's
sermons.
it's sermon. Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, she taught me how to use Canva and put it with Pastor Annie's sermons, and from there it was like kind of like I got the hang of things because of like how everything went together, like the format and like the pictures
Yeah.
and like the words and colors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's tight.
it's easy once you have like an outline
Yeah.
to like what you want it to look like,
Yeah.
or if you have like a certain theme you want to
Okay.
use.
Yeah. That makes sense because I've been on Canva and it's like it seems like there's so many options. It feels like I wouldn't know where to like kind of start at it, but it makes sense if you like if you have a theme or like an outline to go along with and you stick to that, then you'll be able to pull things that align with like whatever vision you had for like in the first place. So that makes sense. You also are the owner of Black Girl Expo. So where did the vision come for that, and what are the different services that you offer for your business?
That vision came from when I was like 15, 16,
Mm-hmm.
when I had my first or second art gallery. And I decided during COVID that I wanted to have like a virtual exhibit or a virtual session for Black little girls.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mission statement is to like get back to the Black community and Black little girls and give them a way to express themselves through art.
Mm-hmm.
And during COVID, like I really wanted to hold like an art session, but I wasn't really able to because like everything happened.
Yeah.
From there, it was just like people asking me to like make graphics for them or like ask for my opinions on certain things. Like the first time I became a branding manager for a
Mm-hmm.
record label company was in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the summer before I had the opportunity to go on campus for the first time.
Yeah.
And like from being a branding manager, it was also like planning out the sets for like music videos
Mm-hmm.
and renting out spaces and creating t-shirt designs. And then from there, it led to photography behind the scenes, working with different artists in Greensboro
Mm-hmm.
and doing behind the scenes music video
Yeah.
shoots and working at their events where they have other artists come in and they have like an open mic night,
Mm-hmm.
and then like building that connection with them, networking. And I offer a lot of services
Yeah.
because I have so much experience. I just tell people to like reach out to me
Mm-hmm.
and like tell me their idea, and then we can go from there.
Yeah.
I offer photography, videography, graphic design, branding management, media, calendar. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty much anything in media production, you either like, yes, I can get that done, or more than likely, because of like the network you built, you more than likely know somebody who's like, yeah, I can refer you to a friend and someone that can help you out with that. So for what does the future look like for Black Girl Expo? What does the future look like for you professionally? Like where you want your career to go? What does that look like?
so for my business, I really came up with the idea of like having my own studio this year, and I want to be able to be the next Tyler Perry,
Mm-hmm.
but it also being a Black business hub and have different aspects of art, so like film and also murals
Mm-hmm.
and also art sessions and yeah.
Yeah, just everything kind of like under the arts.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Well, that's really dope. I'm excited to see like your future going on because I knew you did photography. I just didn't know you did like so much. Did you ever work an event with Jarrell that I was at, or no? Have I just? I think I
Maybe.
maybe I was gonna say Jarrell works with everybody, so it's
Maybe.
like I couldn't see that, but I know I always see you at the I see you at the church.
My first time filming a movie was with Jarrell.
For real.
I think we had went to. I don't even know where we went. Like,
Was it in Greenville?
I don't even know. I think
Oh,
it
okay.
was Sacramento.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know where we went. That's so crazy how I
Yeah.
don't even know where I was. But yeah, it was like a really cool experience to go and like you know how they have like the little clip thingies when they be like quiet on set?
Yeah, the
That's what I was
clapperboard,
doing.
and like that. That's what you doing?
But we had a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was doing and like sometimes doing shoots
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Like I worked with Rhapsody with him, Phil
Hmm.
Thompson, well
Yeah.
all of them. You know where Rollywood's? Have you been to
I
Rollywood
have, yeah.
Studios? Yeah,
Bruce had a like an event there. I was filming with that.
I met a lot of celebrities there as
Yeah.
well, but just like helping out.
Do you see it in your future too? Because I know you said, do I want to focus on like the past or like the future and like work with like in the entertainment field? Do you see yourself possibly like delving into both? Like maybe you go to the entertainment route to get like these corporate partners that have these networks, and then maybe like also on the side on your own, you're like, hey, I'm I have my own platform and I'm like talking to people about the past and the activism that's going on in their life. Is that something you'll be interested in, or do you prefer to just kind of stay in like one lane at a time?
I think I would prefer to do both
Hmm.
um, because I want to continue to build my platform and continue to build my platform and continue my side business
Hmm.
while I'm also in a corporate setting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. Yeah. Well, I think that would be, yeah. I'm excited to see all the things that, well, I need to find some of the stuff that you have worked on just because I only knew a little bit about photography. It's like, oh my gosh, well, she's done everything. So now I'm excited to look into all the stuff that you've done and created because I think that'll be really cool to see. And I think you have such a unique story of how you got into everything. I think it can like drastically like help some other people out there that, you know, may not have had like certain opportunities or experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, is there anything that you want to plug or promote that is going on in your life right now? Like you selling something, if people can book you, where can they find you?
I'm not really selling anything, like no new products, but people can reach me on my website by booking an appointment. Just by clicking booking an appointment and then selecting the date and the time, and then I would um, get back with them whenever I can.
Okay. And what's your website URL? Is it www dot?
Black Girl Expo, but it's also in my Instagram. So I
Gotcha.
have my personal Instagram, keepcalm_Francy,
Hmm.
and it's in my link tree, also with my portfolio of me being the weekly ring host.
Yeah.
And my photography services is listed, and my business account is at Black Girl Expo.
Oh, dope. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for coming by. I didn't mean to make you drive a long time. I just thought you were like nearby. I was like, oh yeah, it's
No.
probably just like a 15-minute drive. But thank you so much. Yeah. Any lasting thoughts, comments, concerns? If like people in the church say, if all hearts and minds are clear, we can. Yeah. Thank you once again. We have Miss Francy Rawls. Thank you for stopping by. Well, how you feel? I
Um,
thought you were nervous initially, and then you seemed to